I love that every time, Rhonda. Welcome. Hello, one and all. We have another amazing session today. So here is the sage. So come on in, everyone. Welcome. Send this out to your friends and, share it on your page and go and like and subscribe, because today we have a question for you to consider. Have any of your past lives, the trauma, the all the things that could have happened, are they impacting you still today? Today, our guest is Erica Gholizadeh, who has helped many people worldwide with her gifts as an intuitive, an empath, a medium, and an energy healer. She bridges the realms between the past and the present on Earth and other dimensions, and recently published a book titled Bridging Realms, Multidimensional Healing Through the Past Lives and More, which includes true stories from Erica's healing practice, which has to be amazing. I'm excited. But before we meet Erica, let me introduce the amazing co-hosts who are with me today. We have Rhonda Elliott, who helps me so much in so many ways, is my guiding light of Cerulean Forest Reiki and my Reiki teacher. And we have Teresa Clan of teresaclan.com, who I am enjoying getting to know more and more. But stay tuned to the end, because the card of the week is by Teresa Clan. But Rhonda, tell us about our guest today.
Well, I'm so happy that Erica reached out to us, because I didn't know anything about Erica. She's in Colorado. Are you right?
Yes.
Is that right? And
Yes.
and she has so many gifts, and she sort of reaches across time and space for her healing, which is kind of like we do sometimes in Reiki, but hers is very in depth, and she's very good at just zeroing in on a client's difficulties and where that maybe come from. She does a whole bunch of other things as well, but better me to tell you. I'm going to ask Erica to tell her how she got into this, and how her work has morphed and changed as she's grown into her spirituality and it's expanded with all her gifts and coming to light. It's like once you start embracing a gift, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and all the possibilities come up. So Erica, welcome today to Spirit Sessions, and we're so happy to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me, and it's so nice to meet all of you.
A healing wish.
Okay.
Where did that come from? Let's start with that, because that's an
Healing,
interesting.
that's an excellent question. I don't think anyone has asked me that. You are the first person to ask me about that. The work I do is all about healing on a soul level, but it also affects us mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And then the wish part, it's actually the meaning of my name, which in Farsi it's Erzo, which means wish. So I have a part of my name, and I have, yeah. So thank you for asking, being the first one to ask.
Who knew? But it's really, I mean, people do wish to be healed, but some people just wish to be healed. It takes a big step for people to actually work into it. And when they've gone through conventional methods and nothing has changed, do you find they come to you not as a last resort, but as another sort of resource?
Absolutely. I have a lot of psychologists that are my clients who also refer their patients to me, because psychology is great as long as you can remember everything, right? So where I come in is getting to the root, which is beyond the conscious mind, beyond what someone has already worked on a million times and thought about, but they're still hitting the wall, the same old challenges over and over again. My true gift, my divine gift, it really comes from divine and through the help of spirit guides, depending on which guide is necessary for at the moment based on what we're working on. So it's about um, It's really about getting to the root, which can be this life and or past lives on Earth, or even other dimensions or between lives. And we do have lives, between lives on Earth, as well as multidimensionally, because sometimes we can live multiple lives at one time as well. So I get to the root of all of that to see where the origin of someone's challenges begun, because without knowing all the pieces to the puzzle, we're really missing what all is controlling our subconscious mind and our lives, our patterns that we live lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And most often we come in contact with the same people again because now we have karma, we have life lessons, we have trauma to heal and lessons to learn. So as a result of finding out what all is there, then and who all is it's connected to, then I do the healing work for all souls connected. And sometimes what's really profound is that it's not even always for the client and or the people that they know, but other souls may jump in that we may or may not even know, that we end up doing healing work for. And so it becomes like this huge soul retrieval, um, very profound healing process beyond anything that I could have ever even predicted or known what was going to happen. So honestly, it's really not even up to me what's going to come up, what the healing opportunity is going to be. And it also depends on someone's um, what they're ready for. So I meet people where they're at. I never walk in front of them and just drag them along. No, you got to be ready for this. No, I could be adding more trauma to their lives that way. So depending on where someone is at and what they're ready for is where I meet them and move them through the healing process. And and sometimes the healing process does include Reiki, hypnosis. Most often, I get downloads of information, but sometimes when I don't, I'm actually supposed to regress somebody and they're supposed to get their own answers for whatever reason. But then once that happens, it just turns out to be like the greatest thing for the client because they were supposed to get it. But not everybody has the capacity depending on where they're at. For example, if they don't exercise those muscles on a regular basis, as far as being able to see past lives, as far as being able to rise above the traumas and be ready to face all that's happened, um, they may be limited in terms of what amount of information they can gather, because the hardest thing is when we're lost in the forest with kind of drowning with so much emotions, for us to really know and be able to think clearly in terms of what all is important for, in order to have that higher understanding and know what we're working with before we can do the reprogramming of creating new life enhancing decisions.
Oh, can I just jump in, Erica? What a blessing you must be to your clients. I mean, let alone the world at large, because you create these beautiful healing ripples that go out, and I'm sure everybody here has benefited from that, and at least in some small way. And just from a personal perspective, I've chased my tail with things and kept, why am I not getting any traction here? So what you offer helps bypass what to bring to realms that I'm not even aware of, like a past life block. Like how life is complicated enough on a daily basis. We need people like you to help, bring the dawn. So thank you for what you do.
Oh, thank you so much. And I appreciate for all you do as well. You do some deep work yourself. But yeah, absolutely. It's very profound and to the point where honestly, it's like I feel like just about every time I do a session, I have a spiritually transformative experience because I'm able to feel and see and experience through my clients. I step inside of them. So, and then it's as if the movie screen opens and then the stories, and I'm able to feel and see everything. And most often when I'm able to experience that, mm, it's sometimes it's just me and I'm sitting there with tears coming rolling down my cheeks like, oh my God, and my client's like, yeah, that makes sense. If they're not like overly emotional or highly sensitive or an empath like I am, if they're more intellectual, they'll probably just say, yeah, I could see that. That makes sense. Whereas I'm just like, I have goosebumps, I have the chills, I'm crying or laughing. I'm experiencing all of the range of emotions based on their experiences. And so it's really, I'm stepping into their shoes. And by having that understanding, I can have the compassion and the heart to be able to follow my guidance and really be able to guide them and move them through the healing process. Sometimes I've wondered because I thought maybe it's a curse that I'm so sensitive, it's I'm not a normal person. I can't be in crowds every day. I can't put myself out there. But at the same time, if I wasn't so sensitive, I wouldn't be able to see and feel so much and have so much compassion to help those that truly need my help.
So, Erica, can you describe how you do this? Like, okay, I know you do a lot of work online. So, what would your session look like if it was with Teresa? I could say both, Teresa, or Rhonda. What would happen in a session like that if you were talking to T Dubs at the top of the screen? So you don't often do them in person. They're more likely through Zoom or whatever program you use, right? So, can
Yes.
you describe how that works?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Most of my sessions are phone sessions. Sometimes if someone wants, Zoom or FaceTime or whatever, Google Chat, it doesn't matter what format based on what they're comfortable with. But for me personally, I don't have to see the person. And sometimes like I said, it's a video, but most often it's just the phone. Sometimes I do go into the office. I would say maybe 10%, if that, of my clients I see at my office in Littleton. But most often it's just as effective for me. But some people they have to come in, and I've had people fly in, for in-person sessions, and then they do uh, in person sometimes, they do remote sometimes. So once I meet with a person, let's say with T Dubs, I ask, what your challenges are, how long you've had these challenges, how you would like your life to be different. Now, a person is not limited to just one intention. You can come because some people come and dump. I mean, we're talking dozens. I'm like, okay, enough. They're like, do you want me to keep going? I'm like, no, please don't. Because it's okay. It's okay. Because the point is that we don't know how many things can be interconnected, connected to the same root. So the more I know about the person, the more I can help them. The more quiet somebody is, the more limited I am because, first of all, I don't know what areas they truly need help in. And secondly, when I get messages don't always make sense because it's really not coming from me. So once we're done chatting about your intentions, your challenges, how you'd like your life different, then what I do is I open it up for source, for our creator, for our guides to just kind of take over and and then show me what the root is. When I'm being shown, usually I get feelings. Usually I feel where the blockages are within somebody. oh, I really feel this here. I feel that there. Your heart is trapped and your dad is there and you've gone lifetimes back and this is the root and this is why you have these certain patterns that started with him and so on. So I pretty much just I get all the information and then I communicate. Like, does this make sense to you? And they'll add to it. They're like, yeah, that makes perfect. Because sometimes when I get messages, I'm like, okay, I don't know why I'm getting this word, or I don't know why I'm getting this image, or I don't know why I'm getting this name. And then they'll tell me, oh, that's who I was supposed to go and see on this trip that I canceled. And then I get downloads about why they canceled and how it was important that they did and so on. So it's like, so we kind of work together as a team and through the unfolding process. And the more sensitive somebody is, the more they're beside me. And sometimes they're getting downloads at the same time. And sometimes we're sharing our downloads with each other. So it's like we're kind of taking turns, like, oh yeah, and that pertains to this, and this is why you're saying this. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. So teamwork is really, really important. And then once we work together as a team, then I have somebody lie down in a comfortable position. And by the way, the reason why most of my sessions are over the phone, where I don't really have to see somebody, is because when I get messages and downloads, usually my eyes are closed. When somebody's lying down and I'm doing the healing work, not only are my eyes closed, but they're lying down. So we're not having that eye contact, so it doesn't really matter to me, at least. But so for people that it does matter, that we do it, you know, whatever part of the session that we can look at each other. So once somebody, we're done with the finding out what the root of their challenges is, what decisions they made way back, what the healing opportunities are. Then I have them lie down in a comfortable position. And if they have crystals, crystal stones are the most powerful tools anybody can have. Whether or not you do healing work on a regular basis or not. So, my regular clients have some of the two ghost stones that I highly recommend. So, like, especially the ones that have been my clients for years, sometimes I'm like, wow, that's impressive, man. You have more than I do now. So it's crystals are, I know we were going to get into that later or something, but anyways, I do have them place certain stones in certain places. I don't use them traditionally. I use them based on what I'm intuitively guided to have them place it and use it as. So once we do the placement of the stones, I also use essential oils like lavender oil that helps clear and calm the energy, and sometimes rose oil. So I could use like different essential oils as well that they may have handy, or if they come into my office, I do all of that for them so they don't have to juggle all these stones and and have to, it can be a little bit tricky when you're dealing with a lot of stones. Because we're like, oh, this one fell. I went to grab that. Now the rest of them fell. I'm like, oh God, don't worry. Because sometimes when they do fall during the healing process, they've served their purpose. No big deal. Anyway, so once everything is all set up and they're comfortable, and in person, I have like heat on my massage table. I have a blanket, and so it's pretty cozy. At home, I always recommend a distraction-free environment where they can be nice and comfortable. And then I start to direct energy. When I start to direct energy, I'm able to see like what past life is trapped where, what trauma is trapped where, who they have cords connected to, and what all it pertains to, what emotional blockages are interfering with their energy, with their, well-being and so on. It could affect us physically, emotionally, in any way, shape, or form. And so as I'm working, as I sometimes I do like a guided meditation, which really kind of puts them in a hypnotic, relaxed state. And but it's never the same. It's all, every session is always different. It's never cookie cutter style. I never know what somebody's going to need and what I'm going to find. Once I'm in there, I actually do the reprogramming in terms of what blockages there are and what they need instead. And most often, when I'm doing that work, usually our blockages pertain to other people, and it could pertain to multiple lifetimes, multiple events. So, all who are associated to that will most likely receive healing. And oftentimes, people have noticed shifts with their relationships, even with the way people are with them. With the way people are, like in terms of they could be totally different with them, even though they've done the work, but the effects they see with others. And that also brings me to another point of surrogation work, which I do on a regular basis. Are you ladies familiar with surrogation?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
no,
Now,
please explain that. That's very interesting. Yeah, I'm listening to
yes.
your book. I'm just starting in that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
You have an excellent story about that in your book, right?
Oh, I
And
do.
yeah, yeah.
I do, and I'd love to share it too.
sure. Yes, please.
Yeah, yeah. So surrogation is it's usually when we have permission through somebody else's higher self to do the work for them. Now, higher self, it's not their conscious mind. It's not, because sometimes people may have conscious beliefs like, oh, it's against my religion, or I don't believe in this stuff, or whatever the case might be. Their higher self knows best. If I don't have permission, I don't get messages. I can't help the person. And I used to, I first started doing surrogation work by muscle testing. And that was like the traditional way. I'm also a psyche practitioner, so I learned that way back when I was doing some belief change work by their techniques. Nothing I do is really traditional, so I combine a lot of things. So I can't really say that this is hypnosis or that's psyche or that's Reiki. I do my own thing, based on they show me what
Everything's
to
sort
do,
of
or they
been,
do.
yeah,
Hmm.
everything's been sort of put up. Ollie is asking. Ollie's calling from Belgium. So surrogation is a bit like an intercession. Is a bit like intercession.
Um, sure. I mean, we can say intercession, but it's really communicating with someone's soul. It's not their conscious mind. Most often, somebody's conscious mind does not even need to know what that is. Let's see. I actually, you know, I actually have some information in my book, but it's kind of long though. Um, but let's say that maybe by giving the story that's in my book can help have a better understanding of
Sure. Show us your
what
book.
I'm referring to.
Show us our
Oh
book because
Yeah.
there's a couple of books called Bridging Realms, but this one's called Bridging Realms, and I just let's see.
Multidimensional healing through past lives and more.
Yeah, it's very pretty, and it's an audio book, and it's great to listen to as well. Because are you
Yes.
narrating this book? Are you
No,
narrating this book?
I'm not.
Oh,
No,
it
it's
sort of
actually by.
sounds like you. So
I
I was going
just.
just a wee
Thank
bit.
you.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Thank you.
excellent.
Yeah, she did a great job. She was actually an actress, and then now she's just living. She was an actress in Hollywood. She moved to um, Hawaii, and I liked her voice, and she did an amazing job. And she did a session with me, so I always appreciate it when people I work with do sessions, so they have a better understanding of my work.
Mhm.
And I'd be happy to work with you ladies too. Anyways,
So,
so going back to surrogation and this really profound story that's in my book, a client came to me. It was in January of last year, I believe. Anyways, she came to me and she said, my husband is no longer the man he used to be, and I want to get a divorce, but I also want to feel like I've done everything that I possibly can before I get a divorce because we have two little kids. my father, that was a Freudian slip. They've had father, daughter, past life too. Anyways, my husband, he is an alcoholic. He smokes pot all the time. He's never around. He comes home once in a while. I'm a single parent now without him around, but technically still married. And I'm trying to raise my kids while I have a full time career. She's just this beautiful, successful woman, very driven, very hard worker who had an absent husband that she was on the verge of divorcing. I said, okay, when we do surrogation work, we can help others through you. And it's just as effective, if not better, because they don't have their walls up. They don't have their prejudice or their egos don't interfere or their conscious mind and so on. And she's like, well, I'm not ready for that. I need to work on me, which I totally respect. I think that's where people should start. We should do our work first. And then once she had the capacity, then what we did was her husband's soul kept popping in during the sessions, but she kept saying, nope, I need to work on me. I need to focus on me. I can't focus on him. So what's happening is people's souls pop in, but the person always also has to be ready for it. If they're not, we can just put them aside. And when they are, man, oh man, is it profound. Because then when she was ready after several sessions of really working on her foundation, then she's like, okay, let's do it. So we did some healing work that was past life and present life related. And he had some beliefs around money that was not serving them because she has big goals. And so every time she would talk about it, she would trigger him. And to him, it was not safe to make a lot of money because it could cost you your life. You could have enemies. People will be jealous. Just too many problems. So he was trying to avoid that. Anyways, so we did some past life, present life work for him through her. By the way, a funny note about that, which is true. She would tell him, I'm going to go see Erica. She's, oh, there you go again. You're going to go see the crazy woman. I'm like, yeah. We'll just let him think that I'm the crazy woman. But this crazy woman, through the surrogation work that we did, completely changed this man. He went from dark to light. He literally started a contracting business. He quit drinking. He quit smoking pot. He wakes up in the morning, doesn't even have caffeine, doesn't even like herbal, tea without caffeine now. Starts the day. What can I do to help? Goes through the honeydew list, checks them off. He's like, she's like, he's better than he ever was. And I just wanted the man that I married to be back, but he's a better version of that now. So I recorded that and I got her permission and it's in my book. I'm like, this is really the power of surrogation, of how much we can affect other people through the work that we do. As long as now his soul would have never popped in if I did not have permission. So it's like a automatic thing, like, okay, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes they tell me no. So when we say no, when they say no, literally the door is closed. I get no downloads. I have to respect them. Otherwise, what can happen is I'm creating bad karma for myself and potentially for my client. And without permission, we don't do anything. So I don't want to take on that person's pain and suffering and do things unethically without, their higher self and their higher power's permission.
Yeah, because some people, we don't know what they agreed to when they incarnated here and what their struggles have to be. So what lessons they're learning. Right. And so
exactly.
So
there's always a higher reason why we have our struggles. Always, always. The more painful, the bigger the healing opportunity.
Right. Well, that's incredible. I never realized that. So that's an incredible story. And like, show your book again. Bring it right close so everybody can see it. And it's on Audible, but it's also anywhere. You can go to the links in the description of this video to see, and you can get it off Amazon very easily too. And it's a easy read because it's the stories are so interesting, and you just keep getting, it's like a Netflix series or something. You just keep binging them. It's awesome
You
that
just
way.
keep, yeah, getting reeled in, I hear. And yeah, so the stories are all true stories of my clients with their healing experiences as a result of our work together, which
I,
is
I
which is very profound.
There was some about having extraterrestrials that I found kind of interesting, like extraterrestrial lives connected to present lives, and that you can be living here, and other ones that were really interesting were how you could be living in this life, but also be living in another life at the same timeline, like connected at the same time, like your soul is kind of you know, cookie cutter divided into different lifetimes at the same time and how they interconnect at the same time, which kind of blows my mind even now while I'm thinking it. But what 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 were the struggles with people that had those? Were they kind of overlapping in the wrong places and stuff? Like the struggles that they would have?
um, uh, I'm trying to understand your question better so I can answer it. So the struggles in terms of their lives on other planets, or is that what?
Yeah, the
Or
lives in other planets and living a life
okay,
here
yes.
at the same time. Like what did you find their struggle was? Was it just like a disconnection from living here on Earth and sort of always with their head in the clouds or something like that? Or they just didn't
Hmm.
understand Earth as well?
Yeah, yeah. So there's two stories I can share about that because one is like pertains to when our soul splits and we're living simultaneous lives. So there's that aspect, and then there's also the other aspect where we've had lives in other planets that are affecting our lives now. So that's what I was trying to figure out. Which way should I go? If you want, I can go either way, both.
You can do both. Yeah, it's like I remember the one saying like, my husband's like seems like he's from a different planet, and he was.
Oh,
So yeah, that was interesting.
oh
I remember that
yeah.
one.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, yeah. So it was really fascinating because she was also on the verge of getting a divorce. And her husband, it's really fascinating to me because I'm not wired that way, but it's almost like he was going by a textbook. Oh, this is what I'm supposed to say. This is how I'm supposed to act. And, this is what humans are supposed to do. Like it was very foreign territory for this guy to be this alien in this human form, which there are plenty of among us, by the way.
Mm.
And he's trying to fulfill that contract of having the human experience. But yet it's so foreign that there's a complete disconnect between him and his wife, between him and his son. There's no emotions. Everything is like an intellectual concept. And he's highly educated. He's got a really good career and everything. But there was a total disalignment with like being to him being human was very foreign. So when I told her about who she's really married to, she was like, "Oh my God, I've always told people I am married to an alien." And I've never told you that before. Exactly. She's like, what you described is him, you know? So then she had the choice of whether she wanted to stay with this alien because we did some work around him and his mother through surrogation, which helped with the communication and helped in some ways, but not in its entirety to the point of that heart connection that he was lacking. Like he still wasn't able to feel fully, right? There's only so much you could do for someone. And so as a result, she had a higher understanding. She knew what she was working for. She did see some shifts within him and her son that we did work with. Her son's soul is split, and also her son's, okay, okay, this is really profound too. That's why I'm saying it's like the stories, I can go on in so many different directions. But her son's soul, when she was pregnant with him, he was a twin. So there's another soul, there's two inside of her.
Mm.
But what happened was his twin died, and so only he was born, and then the twin was still alive. So when her son was a child, without even knowing that he had a twin, he would make these drawings of this other boy that he even had a name for, and would say, "That's my brother." And so when I told her about the brother, now this is complex, because not only does he have his brother's soul inside of him, it's called chimerism. So when like twins, when one dies at birth, sometimes they attach themselves to the other and they live through them. So they thought, okay, well, we don't want to depart. We still want to be brothers. We still want to have each other in each other's lives, but let's go ahead and I'll still be with you, brother, but I'll be inside of you and live through you, and I'll try to help you that way. Well, there's that factor with this boy. And then another factor with him was his soul was split while he was living multidimensionally in other realms.
Holy cow. I thought disappearing syndrome, twin syndrome was complicated, but goes beyond.
Oh, it goes way beyond. This poor guy had so much emotions, had so much talking going on in his head. He couldn't stop the chatter. It wasn't just his, it was the other boys. And it was also the other parts of him that was living multidimensionally in other realms. So I literally had to set boundaries with him and this other soul that was inside him. And I had to close some of those doors that he was connected to, where he was getting downloads of energy from, that was making him crazy. Like he was wired all the time. There was no peace in this boy. He was like cutting himself. He had a knife that he was stabbing like the furniture with. I mean, there was a lot of anger, there's a lot of frustration. There was such a mixture of emotions that didn't even most of it didn't even belong to him, from here in this existence. So I literally had to disconnect some of these connections with other realms, and also set strict boundaries with his brother that they wanted to continue to keep the contract. Contracts are adjustable. We don't have to stick to the same contract, because there's been many instances where people have had other souls inside of them, where we discontinued the contract and I helped them depart in peace. And we did the work. So they both departed in peace. And then if they choose to meet again in another life or whatever, they can. But then that brought them their life back. They can now fully live in this human existence without all the interferences and chatter.
Oh my gosh. You must be wondering how much mental health issues are due to causes like this, right?
You have no idea, Teresa. You have no idea. I have dealt with so many people that have gone to mental institutions that have been labeled all kinds of things, and it didn't even have anything to do with those labels. They're on the wrong medications with the wrong labels, doing the wrong things, completely disconnected, because some of these medications were making them completely check out and numb out. So I didn't really have anything. I was dealing with like empty shells. I'm like, oh my God, okay, how do I rescue this person's soul and help them disconnect from all these energies that are affecting them? And once I did so, they would live normal lives. And one person that I helped, um, someone had asked me to help her friend's daughter who kept ending up in a mental hospital, and they didn't know why. They had no idea why. So then they put her on all kinds of medications. She'd come back home, temporarily do fine. The next thing you know, act completely crazy and end up back in a mental institution. I was divinely guided to do work for this young lady that I never talked to, because I owed her karmically from a past life. So
Ah,
there's some, yeah, so there's some really dark spirits that were attached to her. Um, and Yeah, so I'll kind of leave out some of the details because it's pretty graphic. Anyways, they got attached to her through some traumatic events. And so as a result of doing the work for those, I really call demons lost souls. Really, that's what they are. They need help too. So I found out if they're open to it, only if they're open to it. I found out what they needed and then did the healing work for them, for those spirits that were attached to her, and for the young lady that was in the mental hospital, and for myself, because everybody needed work done. I had to clear the karma that I had created through some of my wrongdoings in a past life.
right.
So, anyways, once I did that, she came back home completely normal, has not had another episode, and it's been years. It's been years.
That's awesome. Not that all mental health can be created, but there are cases that obviously, and I think the person has an innate knowing that there's something more going on than just mental health issues. There's something more, and they'll say no, it's something else. It's something else. They keep repeating that, and they just get medicated instead of maybe get the true help. Anyways, Teresa
Right. And,
T Dubs can
and
speak
just
to that too.
Yeah, and just for the record, I'm not a medical professional. I
Nope.
can't, I'm not the one doing the healing, it's whatever that I'm guided to do as a result of it. They can experience healing. But so I don't know anything about medications, but I have found that sometimes with some people it has done them more damage than good, and sometimes it does help people,
Yeah.
but it also depends on how open somebody is and if they're ready, if their soul is truly ready for that change to happen.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. It's all we don't know what someone's path is, and that's the whole thing about this, right? We're sometimes put in the path of others. So it's wonderful. So
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
um so we're getting to the end. Tell us where people can find you and a little bit about that. And then we'll ask you your questions, and then Teresa Clan, TK, will give us a card.
Yep.
So how's that
Okay. Awesome.
for the week?
Sure. So they can find me at healingwish.net. All of my contact information is there, healingwish.net. It's all one word. Or they can email me, Erica at healingwish.net.
Okay, cool. And all that is attached to this video, YouTube, or the podcast, and you can get a hold of Erica that way. Erica, Teresa has some questions for you. I'm giving
Okay,
it to
great. Thank you.
Teresa. T Dubs, T Dubs. Sorry, T Dubs.
Okay, so we talked about this earlier to make it a little bit easier, but you know that all of us, we all love our rocks, our stones, our gemstones, our friends. You know what I mean? They call us in the night. What is your favorite one to work with?
That's a tough question because I have a favorite one every so often. My most recent one, if I had to choose one, is called Golden Healer Selenite. It's this beautiful, gorgeous piece that one of my beautiful friend, not she's like a friend, but she's a client of mine. She actually gifted me this treasure. It's truly a treasure. So it's called again Golden Healer Selenite. She even gave this card, but you may not be able to see it on the screen. So it says, Master Healer assists to access the gold ray, raises vibration. I use this every single day on myself, or if I'm doing remote sessions, I do it remotely, directing it in certain areas. And then also I sleep with it too.
Oh, yeah.
I have my favorite stones that I sleep with. I look pretty crazy at nights. I can have this on my forehead. I could have a serpentine, which is my second favorite, on my
Ooh,
head, the top
oh,
of my
man.
head. I love serpentine. It's really great for third eye, crown chakra, past lives, intuition, and all of that. But this is great for healing and clearing, which is one of the best tools I've ever worked with. I can't live without stones, but this is my most recent favorite.
I love that. That's beautiful. So the second question then is about your theme song or your go-to song. You're going across that stage, you're doing your shimmy, the audience is clapping and excited for you, but you're hearing your song that's inspiring you. What song is leading you out there?
One of my favorite songs, I don't listen to much music, but sometimes if I'm in the mood, I would say one that really resonates with me is called Paradise by Stick Figure. And it's really about finding your paradise. And I love the videos because it's all about the ocean. I miss the ocean so much. But
Mm,
anyways, that's a different topic for a different day, regardless. But it's really finding your paradise. Like everything is within your heart and soul. Everything is inside. So when we bring the attention back into our hearts, that's where we can tap into the joy, the love, the peace, whatever it is that we desire, or insight about where we're at, what we need. So our paradise is within our hearts, I feel, and that's one of my favorite songs.
oh, I love that. I love that. And Rhonda, did you want the third question? You're muted.
Um, have you seen a UFO lately? Like, I know you're bridging realms, so of course you have extra dimensional contact all the time. But have you seen maybe what we call the tin can UFO, the actual lights in the sky kind of UFO, like lately?
I have seen them many times. I find that I have this one client who's also a friend. I've done many home clearings for him and healing sessions for him and his mother and loved ones. Anyways, he lives out in the country where it's very, very open. And out there, oh my goodness, sometimes it's like a light show going on in the sky. There's a lot of activities.
Wow.
So I've seen them many times there. And one time when I was working on his land, as far as clearing the energy and getting messages, I walked in this one area. It kind of like the energy just kind of gave me the chills. I was like, whoa, what is going on here? And I kind of stepped back to exactly where I felt it. Usually when I'm doing any kind of clearings, it's important for me to be in that particular spot to really feel and be able to see and get the messages. And I was like, there's an alien here that visited you very, very recently. He's like, oh, really? Tell me about it. But the sensations, I mean, even right now, I have goosebumps, like from head to toe, just sharing it. The
Mhm.
sensations were so intense that I'm like, just give me a minute. And so I began to kind of walk in the area that I was feeling it. And as I was looking down and walking in that area, I saw this rock, and it does not look like Earth rock at all.
Hmm.
I actually have a picture of it on my phone. Um, I
You'll
was
have to
like,
post it in the comments to this video later. You can just make a comment, put a picture in.
okay, I will
That would be
definitely do
awesome.
that. It's really
That'd be
fun
awesome.
because it looks like a piece of plastic or something, and it's really heavy. And it's shiny in one side and
Wow.
not on the other. Anyways, it's like it's really wild. So I picked it up and I was like literally shaking while I'm holding it. I'm like, this is what the alien left for you. And he's like, wow, this is really powerful. I mean, he felt it. We're both feeling it. And I really wanted to keep it. But guidance is like, no, it's his, Erica. This is on his land. It's his. I'm like, oh darn it, I'm supposed to give it to you. But I,
Next
I,
one.
I gave
Next time you get to keep it.
Yeah, next
yeah,
time.
yeah, right. I hope. But anyways, I got messages about the alien that was recently there. They were actually like soul brothers that lived in another planet together. And so while I was delivering the messages, I felt the sadness of that alien who missed his brother, my client, so much that he wanted to come and visit him. I was literally crying when I was feeling the alien sadness and delivering the messages.
Uh-huh.
It was a very deeply profound experience. That's why I'm saying it's like I have like these spiritually transformative experiences all the time. I was like, wow, this is so profound. And he's like, I could really feel that. So I'll go to his house from time to time and do home clearing because he does a lot of ceremonies and he's
Oh,
got
yeah.
like lots of acres of land there and everything. So a lot takes place. And then I usually clear the energy and make sure that any spirits that may be left behind from the people that were there get helped. I help do soul retrieval on them so he can have that peaceful, quiet, high vibrational space back. But because when we have a lot of people around, it can affect the energies, and God knows what they leave behind. I've seen some pretty dark things.
Holy
Wow.
cow. Teresa Clan, you're going to
Yes.
talk about today's fall equinox. So that's the special energies that we're all feeling today. Erica, I don't know how much you're into that, but I'm sure you can feel all the energies of this new moon. And
Oh,
and
yes.
so tell us about that, TK, because you're right up on that. And
Yeah, thank you, and thank you everybody for joining us today. And like and subscribe, right? Like and
yeah,
subscribe, please, to build up our
Awesome.
numbers here. As traumas are portals, so are eclipses, right? And today
right.
is a new moon eclipse in Virgo, so it's a double whammy. Remember last month we had this same, Virgo data point to work with. And so, because of that, it's time to tidy up, declutter,
Yep.
lesson learns, a last chance to really get on something. If it was kind of wishy washy the last month or something for the last 6 months, restart it, get back in there. You are heavenly supported to achieve what you're wanting here. Um, it's a doubling down and a double boost with healing. So this is a fabulous, what a beautiful gift for us. And, embrace life. Like you say, Erica, embrace it. Make the most of what we got going on here. Um, it, it actually peaks at just before 1 p.m. Pacific time. So in about 3 hours. So for those who can, take time over the next few hours to really, be with that energy. Do not be afraid of the dark, because within that is all the light, is all the light. And
Okay.
a card. Yeah, I'll just do a brief reading. This is Rebecca Campbell's newest deck, the Inner Temple Oracle. Beautiful, gorgeous. Maybe my favorite of hers, and that's saying a lot.
Oh,
Card today is called the Ceremony of Life.
mm.
Oh,
And
that's a beautiful
again,
card.
Ain't
Katie
it?
Louise did the artwork. And this is a card of devotion, of weaving the sacred all the way in and through your life. a card of sacred ceremony and integration, and you are being asked, how can you make your life a ceremony? If you were to live in prayer, what would change? What if you saw it all as a sacred celebration? If you could devote your life to something, what would it be? What would you do? And the invitation is to design your life in a way that feels sacred. This is one of the activation suits in this deck, one of 4 suits. And the activation is, and just breathe this in, center, accept this beautiful, beautiful affirmation. I choose to embrace my life and live fully while I have the privilege of being here.
Wow.
There's more commentary in the book that I'm not going to go into now, but that's enough. Oh, I'm getting angel bumps.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
And Erica was talking about helping people do that today, just living that whole life and removing those blockages that keep us from living our whole life and not having it's almost like a shortcut to get into the good stuff, right? It's almost like a shortcut, and it's a well worth shortcut. Sometimes we're just blocked, and instead of hitting our head, we can seek out other ways to remove those blockages. Thank you so much, all, for being here. It's been a privilege and an honor to have you all. And check out Erica's book, Bridging Realms, Healing Multidimensionally. I'm sorry, I probably screwed that up, but check out her name. The links are all there. And I highly recommend listening to the Audible as you go, doing your other tasks, because the stories are so captivating. It just helps you fly through them. And thank you again, Erica, for reaching out and being with us today. And
thank you so much. I feel at home with you ladies. I feel like this was such a gift for me. I really appreciate the opportunity to have met you, and then to also to be able to share my gifts with others. Thank you so much.
Stay on after, because we'll be pulled down, but I'll pull you back up. So
Okay.
did you want to end the audio stream, Teresa?
All right. Thank you all. Take care, and we will see you next week.